Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a video at the end of VEDA, towards the end of VEDA. Not entirely sure which day. I was going to do 2 book hauls because, to be honest with you, I filmed 1 book haul when I thought I was done book shopping, and then my husband took me to the thrift stores yesterday and I bought a few more books. So instead of just adding another book haul to VEDA, I am going to redo this whole thing. I do have quite a few books here, and they're kind of in no particular order. I don't know how much of a synopsis I'm going to give you because I'm going to guess like 50 books here. But, yeah, I would just suggest getting comfortable, maybe going to get a drink of some sort, some coffee, some flavored water, regular water, maybe get a snack because I think this is going to be a longer video. If you hear my fan, or my ceiling fan, or my air, I'm sorry, but it's hot, so that's the best we can do. I'm going to start with this stack. That stack over there fell down. So I think this stack, we'll get the stuff that fell, and then we'll get my bag. I think that sounds like a good time. What do you think? So I got quite a bit of thrillers. This is no exception. This is a thriller. This is Are You Sleeping by Kathleen Barber. First off, that cover, let me show you. Her face and then the flowers. I mean, that just drew me in right away. So, this follows this woman named Josie, who has ran away from home, and she created a whole new life. She hasn't been home in like 10 years. And she got married to this man named Caleb. And she's been lying to him for 10 years. So that's all that I know. I think she gets a phone call from home, from someone at home, and they're just like, yeah, you need to come back. And she can't, because I think she told Caleb that her family died tragically in like a car accident or something. And so it's about lies and secrets, and I really want to know what's going on. Plus, there are parts of it that are told in like chat format, and then like emails, and I just love that type of book. And then this one has like status updates, like a Facebook type post. So I'm very intrigued for this one. The next one is another thriller. This one is The Wild Inside by Jamie Bradbury. This follows this woman who is going back home to Alaska. Tracy is her name. Tracy is going back home to Alaska after her mom dies, and moving back to Alaska to help her dad run the dog racing, dog sledding thing that they have. Then we have Little Deaths by Emma Flint. And this says it's the summer of 1965 in Queens, New York, when Ruth wakes up and finds that her twin girls have been kidnapped. Worse, though, is that when the cops come, they find, it just says they find a horrifying discovery. But because the title is Little Deaths, I am inferencing that it's going to be the bodies of the two little girls. And this one's going to be an emotional thriller. It's probably for sure going to tug at my heartstrings. And I have to read it when I'm like mentally prepared for that. So I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon, if I'm being 100% honest with you. But I do think this will be a 5-star book when I eventually get to it. The next one is my book of the month from July. This one is Dark Corners by Megan Golding. This is the second in the Night Swim series. I didn't know there was going to be another one. She can't see what she fears the most. But you follow Rachel, who's being contacted by the FBI to help them on some kind of serial killer case, I think. And I really loved Rachel in The Night Swim, and I'm very, very highly anticipating the sequel. I did not realize this was a young adult thriller, but I should have known by the cover. It says The Truth Beneath the Lies by Amanda Cersei. I don't really remember. It says one girl's present day horrors, one girl's haunting past. When Kayla and Betsy's lives collide. I remember the twist now. This is a really good book, and I haven't read it in a couple of years. But I believe that I buddy read this with Amanda and Michael, and I think me and Michael were talking about it afterward. Right? Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do with this one now, because I think I've read it. And I think the twist, I think I know the twist. Really good young adult thriller, though. We have more thrillers, because are we at all surprised? Like, it's me we're talking about. Thrillers and romance. But I think most of these books are thrillers. Yeah, I think they're pretty much all thrillers. This one is Last Girl Ghosted by Lisa Ugner. Think twice before you swipe. So this follows this woman who meets this man who's like perfect on a dating app. They meet in real life a few times, and she feels like she has fallen in love with him. And then he deletes his profile and he completely ghosts her. My prediction is that, like, she's being ghosted by him, but he's stalking her. That's my prediction. I haven't read it, so if I'm wrong, it's fine. I'm not lying to you. It is my prediction. Then I got another Lisa Ugner book. This is Beautiful Lies. So this one I think is more of a mystery. Then there's Eager. One word will change everything. I'm not going to even try to pronounce this author's name because I'm going to butcher it. But this follows Agneta and Stellan. They've been married for 10 years, I think. And, oh, okay. For a lot longer than that, because they just leave their daughters and their grandchildren out the door. They told them to, you know, like, when you get back home, let us know. And then Agneta gets a phone call, and they say, Eager. And then she goes and kills her husband of, like, 30 years, and now she's on the run because she killed her husband. But why did she kill her husband? What does that word mean? I'm so confused. Then I got The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I don't think I grabbed it, but I also bought and read Love Theoretically from Book of the Month as well. So I got 3 choices this month. But anyways, the only one left by Riley Sager is one of my most anticipated reads of the year. But yet I haven't read it yet. I'm not even going to read this, to be honest with you. I think it's just Riley Sager, and I will read anything from Riley Sager. All you really had to say was Riley Sager has a new book, and I'll be like, yes. Then I have a middle grade. This is The Bone Garden by Heather Kastner. It's a middle grade horror novel about going underneath the graveyard. Then there's Growing Things by Paul Tremblay. This is a short story collection of scary stories, horror stories. I'm very intrigued because I've read one thing by Paul Tremblay, but I want to read more from him. There's The Essence of Nathan Biddle by J. William Lewis. Thank you to the publisher for sending this my way. Then I have Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson. I love Jacqueline Woodson's poetry collection, like Brown Girl Dreaming, I think. Yeah. Then I have Blood Sisters by Jane Corey. They had a bond that should never have been broken. I mean, it's a beautiful cover, first off. 3 little girls set off to school one sunny morning. Within an hour, one of them is dead. Then I have The Lost Night by Andrea Bartz. Again, this was a author by. I got these at the same store and I didn't notice that they're both by the same author. This is Jane Corey. This one is My Husband's Wife, and Blood Sisters, which we already talked about. This one's, yeah, and the covers, I mean, they look very similar, but I thought that was really cool, so I had to show you. So, My Husband's Wife, when an eye for an eye, a wife for a wife. When I saw this and read what it was about, my husband was like, that's how you should refer to yourself. My husband's wife did this. My husband's wife, you know, as in like, I did this, or my husband's wife. And then I'm like, I don't really think this is about me, though. I don't think it's my husband's wife, as in myself. I think the husband has a different wife and a different family. And so it's like a domestic type thriller. And I'm here for that. Left Neglected by Lisa Genova. I think this is like a domestic kind of thriller. Alright, so there's The Dollhouse by Fiona Davis. This is a historical fiction that takes place in the 1950s when this woman, Darby is her name, when this woman named Darby moves to New York City to become a model. Then I got The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. This was mostly an author by again, but this one follows this like suburban area of the suburbs, and they're having like a welcome back to school party, so it's the end of summer party, barbecue type thing, and one of the moms that's hosting the party gets into a fight with her son, and the next day her son is dead, and now everyone is trying to figure out what happened to her son. We're gonna change tones for like one book and go to romance. And this is The Wedding Ringer by Carrie Ray. I believe that this follows this woman right here, Willa, who was dumped by her fiance. She got fired from her job, and everything is just going bad for her. So she becomes a party clown for children's parties, but I don't know how. Somehow she gets hired to pretend to be the bridesmaid at this wedding. And she has to pretend that she knows the bride and everything like that. And I just think it's going to be really funny and kind of cute. So then there's The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth. I've just heard a lot of things about this author, so I picked up one of her books. To be honest with you though, it kind of sounds like A Wife Between Us by Gare Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, which at the time was my favorite thriller I had ever read. Now I read a lot of thrillers. I'm not sure if it would still hold up, but it might be kind of fun. This one I'm super excited for. This is The Cage by Bonnie Kistler. This follows two women who are working late on a Sunday night at their office building, and then they both leave around 11 or 11:30 at night to go home, and they both take this elevator from the 13th floor to the first floor where the lobby is. And in that elevator ride, the power goes out and they're stuck there for a little while. And when they finally get rescued from the elevator, one of them is dead. And the woman that survived said that she committed suicide. But did she really, or did that other woman murder her? Then there's another young adult thriller, The First Time She Drowned by Carrie Clutter. I don't have anything to say. I don't know why I keep getting young adult books. I just need to stop. I really need to stop because I don't enjoy them. There's The Ninth Month by James Patterson and Richard Dillio. What wouldn't a mother do to save her unborn child? So this follows Emily Atkins, who is 9 months pregnant, and she has a stalker, but no one believes her that she's being stalked. And go. That sounds amazing. Then there's The Rooming by Anna Collmore. This follows a nanny named Annie the nanny, who's just got hired as the nanny for this really wealthy family. They're going to go on vacation and they're going to take Annie with them, and then creepy things start happening. This is School for Psychics by Casey Archer. This is the start of a fantasy series about a magic school. Then there's Home Again by Kristen Hanna. I'm trying to find a Kristen Hanna book that I like. I read The Great Alone. I like the writing in The Great Alone, but I didn't actually like the book itself. I thought it was long and exactly. But this is some kind of second chance romance. I got two Diane Chamberlain books. There's The Stolen Marriage and Big Lies in a Small Town. This is just an author that I've been really intrigued to try. I really want to read The Dream Daughter, but I couldn't find it, so I got these two instead. Then there's Pass Her Through by Peter Rock. This one I was sad about though, because I thought that this was a true story. It's actually fiction, so it's not true, and I don't know how I feel about that, but it's like this survival story about this girl who's lost in Mount Rainier for a week or something. This one is a paranormal detective type historical fiction. Okay, so we have like 1.5 stacks in this bag, and then we're done. So then I have to put all these away. Ugh. We have Spare Room by Deidre St. Mitchell. This follows this woman named Lisa, who is renting a room from this couple. And when she is cleaning up, she finds a suicide note from a man. And she brings it up to the, like, landlords, the couple that she's living with. And she's like, what's that all about? And the woman got very, very, like, no one's ever lived in that room. This is the first time we're doing this. Stop. You should just be grateful. Type of thing. She got very defensive about it. That's what I was trying to say. And now Lisa is very, very concerned about the place that she's living. Then we have Pariahs by Derek Nicotize. This is a debut, but this is a horror novel. Then there's Hecla's Children by James Borden. 4 children disappeared, only 1 returned. Then we have we have a couple of domestic thrillers. The first one is Just Married by Kirsten Moglen. The Perfect Couple, The Perfect Secret. So this one follows, well, it just says my husband. So this one follows my husband and I as we are on this secluded honeymoon in this cabin in the middle of the woods. And I get this threatening letter on my front porch that says that we need to leave or I will be murdered. My husband just kind of shrugs his shoulders and he's like, yeah, whatever. And he doesn't care. The other domestic thriller is Every Marriage Has Them, Lies, Lies, Lies by Adele Parks. This follows Daisy and Simon's marriage. It's not what it seems. After years together, the arrival of longed-for daughter Millie sealed everything in place. They're a happy little family of 3. So what if Simon drinks a bit too much? Daisy's used to it. She knows he's just letting off steam until one night at a party, things spiral horribly out of control and their happy little family of 3 will never be the same again. This entire series, so this is actually 3 books, and that is City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. This is V.E. Schwab's middle grade paranormal story or trilogy. So there's City of Ghosts, Tunnel of Bones, and Bridge of Souls. So when I read it, I do want to bring it into my classroom, or at least get separate copies of each of the books to bring into my classroom. But I'm really excited to read more V.E. Schwab. I really, really enjoyed Addie LaRue. But I've never read anything else by this author, so I just kind of want to explore more of her backlist. Okay, then we have some poetry. I just really miss reading poetry and annotating it and just enjoying it, because I do love poetry. Poetry speaks to me on a different level because, like, with a novel, it's clearly written what happens in these novels. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. If it's done correctly. You know, like, most of the time you're like, okay, I see the picture, I see where they're going, I see why they made that choice. Or, you know, maybe you don't see why they made the choice, but you can still see what they're doing. Poetry is like, so, it's more about emotions and feelings, and I know those are the same word, but different. Anyways, poetry just speaks to me on a whole different level. So I just grabbed a few poetry collections. I'm going to go through them. I'm not really going to tell you what they're about. But we have She Just Wants to Forget and a beautiful composition of Broken, both by R.H. Sin. Then I have a poem, Travel Down My Arm, by Alice Walker. Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Macquarie. Milk and Honey by Ruby Carr. And 2 A.M. Thoughts by Mackenzie Campbell. So we have 2 more novellas left, and then this big bag, and then we're done. So there's The Vanishing Hill Haunting by Nat Finch. And we have Floor 4 by A. Lopez Jr. This is a novella about visiting this like haunted hospital. So it's an old hospital. It's not a hospital anymore, but you know, it's like abandoned and it still looks like a hospital. But it's a haunted hospital. The counter is going to stop here because I'm going to add 10 books from Value Village onto this list, and we'll go through. So I'm going to try and do these as fast as I can, but I don't know. So the first one is Blood Hollow by William Kent Kruger. Oh, okay, this is crime fiction. Okay, this one is the 3rd book in a trilogy that I only have the first one. So now I have the first and the 3rd, I think. But this is A Dog's Courage by W. Bruce Cameron. This is the 3rd in the A Dog's Way Home series, which I do own A Dog's Way Home, and now I own this one, and I'm just really excited. I love W. Bruce Cameron, but his books about dogs always tend to break my heart, so I'm not ready to have my heart broken yet. Then I have a thriller, The Darkest Web by Kirsten Wright. Her new client will do anything to hide the truth. Is committing murder one of those things? Then there's Deacon King Kong by James McBride. Honestly, I saw this on BookTube. I think. I don't know. I saw it somewhere. And yeah, I think that this follows a drug dealer who gets shot. Then there's Fates and Furies by Lauren Croft. This follows like a marriage, a portrait of one extraordinary couple over the course of 24 years. Then there's Dalmatian Spring by Ash Davidson. This one follows this small town called Dalmatian Spring in Oregon, I think. Oh, okay. For generations, Rich's family has chopped a livelihood out of the redwood forest along California's coast. Now Rich and his wife Colleen are raising their young son near Dalmatian Grove, a swath of ancient redwoods on which Rich's employer plans to make a killing. In 1977, with most of the forest cleared or protected, a grove like Dalmatian and beyond its 24/7 ridge is a logger's dream. Then we have Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. Lillian, who is Madison's friend, but Madison has twin stepkids, and she invites Lillian to come nanny for them. But the only thing is that the twins light themselves on fire. Like they spontaneously, I forget what that word is. Spontaneously combust when they get agitated. flames igniting their skin in a startling but beautiful way. What? I don't know, that sounds interesting. Okay, then we have, Searching for Sylvie Lee by Jean Walk. This follows this woman who goes missing. It begins with a mystery. Sylvie, the beautiful, brilliant, successful older daughter of the Lee family, flies to the Netherlands for one final visit with her dying grandmother. And then she vanishes. That's all I had to know. And then we have The Last Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish. This is a memoir that Tiffany Haddish wrote about herself. And I like Tiffany Haddish. She's funny. So, do I need another reason? This is our last book. I'll let you read it. Okay. This is A Dog's Promise by W. Bruce Cameron. This is the third in the Dog's Purpose trilogy, which means that now I have no excuses for not finishing the series because the other two are already on my shelf. I've read them and I love them, but they break my heart and I can't really tell you anything about the second or the third book because it's part of a series. But all I can tell you is that the first one, A Dog's Purpose, follows this dog named Bailey, whose purpose in life is to protect and be with his person, because he is a person, because all dogs have people. So then this is just about, like, the first one is just about Bailey dying and living and dying and living and being reincarnated and breaking your heart because you read it right after one of your dogs dies. Oh wait, that's just me. So A Dog's Promise. A Dog's Promise is the third in this book, in this series, and I mean, I'm not prepared for this, but I can't wait to close that chapter of my life, or close that chapter of books, close that book. Oh my gosh, see, the thing is that I read A Dog's Purpose. I've talked about it many times on my channel, but I read A Dog's Purpose. I finished it. I started it before I put my dog down, and then I had to finish it after I put my dog down. And of course, I didn't give myself any breaks or leeway or anything. No, I just went home like the day after my dog died, and I had to put him down because he was really sick. And I broke my own soul by finishing that book. And part of me feels like if I read, oh my gosh, such a baby. If I read A Dog's Promise, when I read this, that I'm like closing a chapter on Wyatt. And I know that that's completely crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm such a baby. I'm sorry. But it feels like Y-Man. He was my Y-Man. He was my baby. And I just I'm not mentally prepared, clearly, to read this book and say goodbye to him. And I know that that's completely just like not logical. And that, like, I still have my memories with Y-Man. And we have a little rock that says R.I.P. Wyatt. And, like, I'm still gonna be he's still going to be an important part of my life because, yeah, he's not here anymore, but I have these amazing stories of him, and I have... He was my buddy. He was my monkey. I called him Monkey because he climbed everywhere. And I'm just never going to forget him, regardless of if I read this today or a year from now. Like, he's always going to be a part of me. And I know that's silly to think of a book and be, like, emotional just because you don't want that part of your life to be over. I mean, like, I don't know. It sounds very illogical to me, but somehow it's my feelings, so they are valid. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you turn on your little notifications so that you don't miss anything of VEDA. You don't want to miss a single day of VEDA in August. And if you did, I'll link the VEDA playlist right here, so go check it out.